Hey guys, welcome to Pellets and Pits. I'm Neil. Today we just did like a suckling pig, about a 40-pound hog. We decided to open it up. We did a mop sauce. We've been bathing it, hit our internal temperatures. If you guys want to see how we just did the step-by-step guide for a whole hog, here we go. All right guys, the day's here. The moment of truth. Super excited. Give you kind of a little backstory. We got this exactly a week ago, and it's been thawed out in the refrigerator ever since. It came in frozen. Even in the refrigerator frozen the whole time, it still wasn't thawed out in time. So yesterday we had to bring it out of the refrigerator, keep it a couple hours at regular temperature, and then we were able to stick it back in the refrigerator. I've been on the phone, text messages, whether it be phone calls, text messages, or just direct messages for a lot of people that I look up to in the barbecue world, family and friends. The best way to do it. This is my first time. Super excited. If you break it down in the nutshell, it's just pork. But the problem is you got different cuts of meat, obviously, in the whole pig. We've come up with about 4 different options. I think the one that I settled on is I'm going to open it up. I think, and lay it out flat. From my personal opinion, looking at the computer, the way you guys consume information is the same way I consume information. If you smoke it like this is called the racing style, then I feel like you're compromising flavor, but you might get a little bit more moisture because the skin acts like a barrier. I could be wrong. The other way is to open it up. We can mop it, we can season it, we can expose a little bit more meat. And I think when it comes to flavor over prettiness, I'd rather go the flavor. You see my waistline, there's nothing pretty about this. It's all about flavor. So I think what happens when you keep it the racing style, it does look really good. You can oil it down, you can season it, the skin gets really crispy like chicharrones, but there's not that much intense flavor. And when you think about each cut of meat broken down, think about a slab of ribs. Who just puts a slab of ribs on there with foil, no seasoning, no sauce, and then puts them on a smoker or a butt or anything like that, right? It's all about the smoke, it's all about the flavor, it's all about temperatures. So that's kind of like the backstory. This is a 36.3 pound pig. I thought it'd be interesting. On the Flat Top King, I've mentioned his name several times. His name's Ryan. He is a meat specialist, a meat manager, actually a manager now at Publix. The reason why I say this is because I try to incorporate so much information before I bring it to you guys, at least know what I'm talking about, especially when I don't have any experience. I was worried about the time that it takes to cook this. And the problem I saw was the information went from 3.5 hours to 12 hours. And the temps varied greatly as well, but they all mixed and mingled. So this is a 36.3 pound pig. So I texted him yesterday, I said, call me a good chance. He called me and I said, I got a question, just for curiosity. A normal pork butt that you see at the store is about 9 to 11 pounds, 8 to 12 pounds. How big of a pig does that pork butt come off of? And the answer surprised me. He said 500 to 600 pounds. And I was like, holy cow. So a pork butt typically at 250 would take anywhere between 8 and 12 hours, probably more like the 12 to 16 hours if it's 250. So you can imagine, he said this pig here before it was dressed was probably about 70 pounds. You dress it, 36.3 pounds. So to give you an idea of how much smaller of a pork butt you're working with versus a 500 or 600 pound pig, right? So just quickly break it down. You got your pork butts, you got your loins, you got your ribs, you got your belly meat, and then you got your hams. So that's all in a nutshell. I just thought that was interesting because it does give you kind of like a mental idea of what you're working with. You know, you got a pork butt this big versus a pork butt this big. And that's why I think this will go shorter time than what some people say. Only time will tell. We have our Lone Star Grillz coming up to temp. Cannot wait to use this bad boy. Let me show you how I got this ready yesterday. All right, so we're getting ready for that pig, and I'm going to dump, that's a lot of pellets. I'm going to dump the pellets out because I want to be able to mix it with the chips. When I first got the Lone Star, I was able to get my hands on about 30 pounds of oat chips. But I'm a hickory fan through and through, so when I ordered it again, I ordered hickory. So we're going to be running some hickory, and I'm not exactly sure about the pellet blend. I got to check my stash of what I've got. But we're going to load this up so tomorrow morning we're ready to rock and roll. We're going to have to put on extremely early. One thing to mention when you're cleaning out any hopper, regardless of what pellet smoker you have, you don't have to clean out the whole thing, right? You can leave like maybe you know, a few inches or something like that in the bottom of it. Once you turn it on, you're going to burn pellets to get up to temp. And typically you don't put the product on like right away. So just kind of like food for thought. You don't have to go through the whole process of draining the whole thing. Bear Mountain Pellets. I found this at, wasn't this Walmart? It was Walmart. First time I ever seen it. Maple, bourbon, pecan. I bought this bag specifically for this cook. Those flavors right there on a whole pig just absolutely just scream my name. So the idea of what we're going to do is basically, ooh, that's good color. I'll probably go 3-to-1 ratio. You can go up to a 50-50 ratio. Give that a mix. Once this is all done, we'll take this and we'll dump it into the pellet hopper. Yep, these are the hickory chips. They're only for the Lone Star Grill, and they are cut in a special diameter to be able to fit Chris's auger. Super excited to have them. I like using them. I love hickory, so. All right, that tops us off about 3/4. That's pretty good. If I need to add more, I can always add some B&B Championship or something like that. But that should get us pretty good. My first impression when I finally got it out of the refrigerator yesterday was probably the same impression my wife got. That's it. I mean, that's all I'm working with. A lot smaller than what I anticipated, I can say that. I know that it's only 40 pounds, but you got to remember, the box is like this big. It's all coated in ice. It's all in bags. I took it out of the bag. I did not take it out of the bag. I took it out of the box, put it in the refrigerator, sheet trays, butcher paper, all that stuff. So yesterday was really the first time I got to look at it, and I was like, golly, that thing's little. So, all right. I'm going to open it up first, and then we're going to start trimming some stuff out of it. It looks like it's actually trimmed really well. I got this from Publix. You just can ask your guy behind the counter, and they can order them for you, and they seem like they come in pretty fast.
Do you feel like you're back in 8th grade science lab?
No, I wasn't the smartest tool in the shed. We weren't allowed to have toys like that or tools. Oh yeah. So what we're doing now is just basically, we're just going to open it up. So you can imagine if your pig stays like this, the running style, I just don't see a lot of smoke penetration be able to allow it to go through the meat. So I felt like open it up would be the best for me. I'm sure there's arguments for both ways. It's my first time, so it's not like I'm dead set on this opinion. It was just an opinion that I got based on the information that I received. So now what I'm doing, I'm just looking to trim out the stuff that I wouldn't eat. I'm gonna try to take some of the skin and fat off up here, just expose a little bit more meat. There's plenty fat throughout this pig. You don't have to worry about taking off too much. You got to remember, just really quickly, you know, your ribs are here, your loin, your tenderloin's behind there. Then right here is your bacon. So plenty of fat. I wouldn't worry about that at all. The one thing that I'm not doing, I'm not injecting. That was a decision that was highly debated. It got requested a lot or recommended a lot. I just felt like the main reason why I want to open it up is to incorporate flavor. And we just did a video on whether we should brine pork or not brine pork. And that really didn't have that much of an impact, but I just felt like if I was maybe going the racing style where I knew the flavor was going to be lacking, then I think I probably would have injected. But knowing that I'm going to open it up and have all this cavity and all this ability to have seasoning and all that stuff, some information that I was looking for that I wish I'd have found online, and since I couldn't find it, I'll try to relay it to you guys. You don't have to have a Lone Star to do it. That's what I've been waiting for, to really dial down my Lone Star before I did something special like this. I've had other pellet grills in the past, and I was just worried about like how tall it was, how wide it was, and all that stuff. So 36.5 pound pig, just to give you an idea, okay? I'm just gonna go from the butt here to the snout. It's about 36 inches. Technically it's like 35 inches, but with your feet, they stick out longer. Now, my Lone Star at the base is 20 inches, and this sits right at 24 inches. So we're gonna have to bring those feet in a little bit. The chest cavity, about 15 inches with the head and all that stuff. It only sits about 7 or 8 inches, maybe 12 inches, so I'm not worried about that. But I wish I had that information to look at, because that might determine whether or not you could put this size of pig on your pellet smoker. Now, like all meat, we're just going to dry it out. All right, we got our Texas rub. That's going to be our base coat. We're just going to season it liberally. We are going to come back with that that little barbecue seasoning. And I'm just going to try to hit all the exposed meat. I'm not worried about scoring the ribs or taking the membrane off the ribs, because we will be pulling the ribs out. We're going to treat this as like pulled pork. So all the stuff's going to get pulled anyways. Same thing with that. Just expose as much meat as possible. All right, I've decided to put the small grate on the bottom grate, and the reason is it just elevates it that much more off that hot spot. So this is going to be the pork butts, this is going to be the pork hams. Right before we put it on, we're going to wrap it the ears and the snout, because that's going to be right towards the fire, so we're just going to try to protect it. All right, our pig's on there. I'm not worried about probes or anything like that right now. We got a long ways to go. Probably a minimum of 2 hours before I check it. And then probably the 2 hour mark, I'll start putting probes in there. We're gonna create a mop sauce on camera for you, and then we'll go from there. Probably roughly 8 o'clock right now in the morning. Our goal is anywhere between 6, 8, and 10 hours. I know it's a long shot, but you just never know until we get there. Let's work on that mop sauce. This is what I've got. I got some apple cider vinegar, some hot sauce, some Worcestershire sauce, some apple cider beer, some lemon, some onion, some garlic, some brown sugar, and crushed red pepper. This is 16 ounces, so I'm looking for about half of this. I kind of like more of like a thin, vinegary, sweet heat. So that's kind of like what I'm doing. You guys do you. 1 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 cup W sauce, about 1/8 cup of hot sauce, about 1/4 cup of brown sugar, tablespoon of crushed red pepper. What do you know? Perfect. 1 small lemon, juice and the rinds, 4 smashed garlic cloves, and half an onion. We're gonna put this on the stove and just let it simmer down, let all that garlic get nice and soft, let all those flavors marry together. Alrighty, we're about 2 hours in. Holy smokes, that's a beautiful color. That's not what I expected. I just want to start poking around just to see where we're at. Alright, so the color does not represent the temperature, which is good. Let's go ahead and put our probes in. I'm gonna give it about another hour before I start mopping. So we got the shoulder here. This is your pulled pork. And these are your hams. I'm gonna move that pig around. Before I do, I just want to jump on here really quick and show you this right here. We're doing a rib test. We're doing naked, aluminum foil, and butcher paper. And I've also used that mop sauce that we used on that pig for these ribs for the first time, just to try it out, just something new. Interested to see which one we like better. I kind of have my favorites already, but you never know until you do it. All right, it's been about 3 hours. And by my probe alert, this one right here, this is the shoulder. So the shoulder's reading about 145, and the ham's reading about 98 degrees. So what that tells me is we need to go ahead and change this around. So I'm gonna keep this here, keep this here. Okay, looking good. With this Lone Star Grillz, your hot box is over here, so that's kind of what I anticipated this side to be hotter. No mop, no problem. We just use a little pastry brush, little silicone brush, same idea. Take all that reduced liquid, and we're gonna do this for about every hour. Now we're gonna put the probe right through that shoulder, right through the ham. Woo, that's smoking. Woo. I just want to show you really quick that now our temperatures have caught up with each other. I think it's pretty interesting. We're using the Fireboard app. This is where I took the probes out to change the pork around, the pig around. And now you can see the climb that we're making. So with that being said, 150.6, 150.7, I think that's pretty cool. I just want to show you guys that. We're not going to open the lid because if you open the lid, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. About that time. You know, the crazy thing is during this whole cook, I've kind of joked with some people. You know, when you first do something, it's kind of like the little things that catch you off guard. The teeth in the pig. I know it sounds crazy, but I went to open that mouth up to put some aluminum foil in there to make room for an apple. And that thing has some teeth. Oh, well. All right. We've hit our target temps. We've basted it. Oh, jeez. Try to keep as much of that juice in there as possible. All right, guys, there you go. Honestly, I think it got a little bit darker than what I expected. But with me not wanting to open the lid, because if the lid's open, you ain't cooking. If you're looking, you ain't cooking. You know, I kind of just let it go natural, and I think I'm pretty happy with it. We're about to see, we've got a lot of people over. I know one thing, it's extremely moist. You guys can see this skin just pulling apart right here. And I'm sure it could have rested a little bit more, but that meat right there.
So that's basically like pulled ham?
This is pulled ham, yeah, absolutely, yep. See, typically ham's cooked about like 160, you know, like when you reheat it because it's already pre-smoked. But if you keep cooking it, look at that right there. Oh, that's beautiful.
We gotta try it.
Well, honey, there's probably not much flavor in this. And this is why we decided to open it up, because we wanted, you know, like more flavor. Go ahead, see what you think.
Tastes like pulled pork. So you just pull all the meat?
Well, the one spot I'm kind of looking for is a telltale sign. And from all the information I read, you want to go behind these ribs and kind of pull these ribs out. Because behind the rib is going to be your loin and your tenderloin. And the way you can tell you got a good, perfectly cooked pig is by your loins. And right here is your tenderloin. So we're just gonna go right underneath there.
So that's like a pork tenderloin you buy in the grocery store.
Look at that right there. Let's move it right here so they can see. Now, regardless of how you do your pig, to me, the ultimate guide is the loins.
Like if you cooked a naked pork tenderloin, boy, it's tender as can be. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it's about.
And then a lot of the liquid is our mop sauce.
No, I think a lot of the liquid, see, this is why I want to do it skin side down. Because all that fat from the pork, when it's right side up, has a chance to come down and out. When it's skin side down, in my opinion, not only does it protect it from the pellet grill heat, but it also traps all that moisture in. And it has nowhere to go. So then you're basically creating like your own steam effect. And this is why I decided to open it up. We're going to get to the cheeks later. I got a ton of family over. Let me show you right here.
Yeah, I do.
The cheek meat is prize meat.
Cheek meat? I don't know if I want to eat the cheek meat. After I've been looking at it in the fridge for a week.
It's been smiling at you.
Oh man, that is good.
Yeah. So I'm going to end up basically separating this pig out for the family. We got tons of size. I'm going to show you a quick video of that. And other than that, that's how it goes. I try to give you step by step. We gave you measurements. We gave you temps. Oh, the temp. So we did 250 almost the whole cook. And the last hour and a half, we bumped it up to about 275, 285, somewhere through there. And then we let it rest for about 45 minutes to an hour. I think we showed just about as much as we can. If you guys have any questions, comment below. To me, this is what pellet grilling and grilling out is all about.
It is super good.
Yep. Moist, flavorful. You don't really get a lot of the, as much as we basted and as much smoke is in there, you don't get a lot of that flavor once you get to the inside of the pocket.
But it is super tender and super juicy.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share it with your friends. Step on a limb, try something new, and I'm telling you, come out with something good like this. This is fantastic. But look at that slab of ribs right there. Turn it over, you got the bacon.
I think it'll feed the family.
They eat.
Yes.
Let's try it.
What do you think? Thumbs up?